Residents of Africa have been struggling with a mysterious and tragic disease that induces a fatal sleeping disorder, African trypanosomiasis, or African sleeping sickness. Early symptoms of this disease, nausea, fever, and lethargy, can easily be confused with diseases such as influenza and malaria. However, in the later phase, when it invades the nervous system, it creates brain damage which includes disruption of biological rhythms, inappropriate and irregular sleep patterns, loss of concentration and coordination, and comas. If left untreated, African sleeping sickness is fatal. The progress of the disease varies from quick, death in 12 months, or chronic, death in 5 to 20 years. The original investigation of African sleeping sickness was closely linked to the slave trade, as sleeping sickness caused increased loss of slaves. Ship owners and slave traders pressed their ship doctors to investigate the disease, and the first recorded account appeared in 1734. However, despite awareness of the disease and its propensity to induce a fatal sleep disorder, it remained mostly a mystery until 1894 to 1910. During this time, the cause of sleeping sickness in humans was discovered. A protozoan parasite transmitted by the tsetse fly only found in sub-Saharan Africa. With the cause identified, scientists strive to find a cure. In 1916, a small team of chemists and the German chemical and pharmaceutical company Bayer developed the first effective drug for treatment of the sleeping sickness. Although the treatment would be crucial in the coming century, it quickly became clear that the disease could be controlled but probably not eradicated. Because of this, Africa has seen multiple severe sleeping sickness epidemics in the 20th and 21st century. The first began in 1896 and lasted until around 1906 and affected mainly Uganda and Congo. It was a devastating epidemic with 800,000 people estimated to have died. Another epidemic began in a number of African countries starting in the 1920s and dying down by the late 1940s, with around 500,000 passing away. After this epidemic, there was a dramatic decline in sleeping sickness cases, which can be attributed to intensive control efforts. This included isolation and proper treatment of all infected persons, the protection of humans from bites of tsetse flies by using insecticides, and by maintaining extensive clearings around villages and resident compounds. However, the disease had another epidemic at the start of the 1970s when environmental effects of DDT led to a ban of the insecticide worldwide. The result of this was an increase in disease-carrying flies. Between 1970s to 1990s, there was a steady increase in the number of reported sleeping sickness cases to around 25,000 individuals annually, mainly affecting Angola, Congo, Southern Sudan, and the West Nile district of Uganda. At the turn of the millennium, the scale of sleeping sickness had almost reached, yet again, the levels of the epidemics seen at the beginning of the century. The situation got even worse as the preventative medicine ceased production. Fortunately, in 2001, the World Health Organization reached an agreement with some pharmaceutical companies to provide sleeping sickness drugs free of charge for endemic countries. Since then, the incidence of sleeping sickness has declined over the years from 2,000 cases in 2015 down to 700 cases today. Currently, the individuals most likely to be exposed to the parasites are hunters and villagers with infected cattle herds. Tourists and others working in the area or visiting may be at risk for contracting it if they spend long periods of time in rural areas where the disease is present. Although we are fortunate enough today to bring down the number of cases substantially, this consistently reappearing disease has become embedded into African culture. From their interaction with livestock to their education to their belief system, this disease, consciously and subconsciously, is ingrained into their society, as evidenced by the following haunting lullaby. The song, based off a young girl Eowa, whose mother was a victim to the disease, emphasizes the tragedy that African sleeping sickness has caused not just on a grand scale, but on an individual one as well. Eowa, your mother does nothing. She crushes no groundnuts and draws no water. Eowa, your mother goes nowhere, neither to catch fish, nor to look for snails.